You open the book with a Churchill quote: "The story of the human race is war. Except for brief and precarious interludes, there has never been peace in the world. And before history began, murderous strife was universal and unending." Do you think there will always be war? Do you think that there is some deep human way in which we're tending to this kind of global war eternally?
Well, the optimistic answer of that would be that we could evolve beyond that, right? Because certainly if we look at our ancestors, they had not developed their consciousness as far as we have to be able to build the tools that we have. And so the hopeful answer is we will evolve beyond this kind of brute force, kill the other guy attitude. Certainly, these are questions that will become more obvious over time. I just want to play my little part in this world that I live in as the storyteller who brings information to people so that they can have these kind of questions with themselves, with their friends, with their families. And I think in asking that very question, what you're really saying is, why don't we evolve beyond war fighting?
It is very possible. And your book is such a stark and powerful reminder that human civilization as we know it ends in this century. It's it's a good motivator to get our shit together.
But aren't you really saying human civilization could end, not it ends?
Could end.
Could end.
But the power of our weapons is growing rapidly. So,
as they say, it's time to come back from the brink, right? And it's time to have that discussion while we're still talking.
And, there's another complexity sneaking up into the picture in the form of artificial intelligence, and in cyber war, but also in hot war, the use of autonomous weapons. All of it starts becoming super complicated as we delegate some of these decisions about war, including nuclear war, to more and more autonomy and artificial intelligence systems. It's going to be a very interesting century. Do you, just to zoom out a little bit, hope that we become a multiplanetary species?
I'm all for adventure.
And I too, while am for adventure, I'm all for backups in all forms. So I hope that humans start a civilization on Mars and beyond, out in space. And if you zoom out across all of it, what gives you hope about human civilization, about this whole thing we have going on here?
I mean, I am a fundamentally optimistic person. I must have come out of the chute that way because I just am, right? Even though I write about really grim things, I get inspired by them because I do always believe in evolution, right? I also have like the greatest family ever.
Mm-hmm.
2 kids, Jet and Finley. Shout out to them. They're Lex Fridman fans,
Oh, yeah.
and my husband. And, so what inspires me is like this idea of legacy. I think that you always want to have your eye on being a good example to the best that you can. And passing on what you know and believing kind of in the next generation. And again, that's a sentiment echoed by all these cold warriors I've been talking to, because they also share that, that idea that, wow, look at what we have done as a civilization and look where we're going, whether it's exoplanetary travel or AI. It's just that the human factor of like the desire to fight, the desire to have conflict needs to be reconfigured, because with all these new technologies that we have, the peril is growing at an accelerating pace, perhaps faster than the average human can keep up with.
Well, Annie, thank you for being a wonderful example of a great journalist, a great writer, a great human being. And I'm a big fan of yours. It's a huge honor to meet you, to talk with you today. So thank you so much for talking today.
Thank you for having me.